confirmation this afternoon that the gold cards used by the SA Social Security Agency will now no longer expire in December, even though they originally planned to expire at the end of this year. That means that, as I understand it, even if the card itself has an expiry date of December this year, it will still work next year. Dr. Bongani Diako is the spokesperson for the Postbank. Dr. Diako, good afternoon to you. Is that right? It may say that the card expires, it'll say on the card, expires December 2023, but actually it'll work in January 2024?
Yeah, no, good afternoon, Stephen, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. Most certainly, even if the card is written expired in March 2023, we've gone on to a program of ensuring that the cards work beyond December. Originally, we had parked the date of December with the view that we will replace the cards, but this side of the year, we're looking at our system readiness, and in the next year, we will look then into giving people physical cards. So certainly, SASSA gold cards that have expired will continue to work as normal in the payments of social grants in December and the subsequent months thereafter.
Okay, when will they expire then? Do they have any expiry date at all, or they're now going into perpetuity?
Yeah, no, it would be impossible, Stephen, for them to go into perpetuity. What we've been aware, we've always been aware that we could, together with the card scheme, work on the parameters of the cards as part of the card replacement program. So what we have done is we've allowed sufficient time for the cards to continue working while we then replace the SASSA cards in the market. That program is meant to be completed in the first part of the coming year.
It was the Payments Association who manages this, right? Is that right? Do you have to go to them and ask for permission to extend the validity of these cards?
Well, obviously, the Reserve Bank is involved in those conversations, but most interestingly, on this component of extending the chip component of the card, it's a conversation between the bank and the card manufacturer. In our case, it's been a conversation between us and Visa, working on extending the parameters of the cards, primarily to ensure payment certainty. Stephen, as you know, we're going into December, a silly period of the year. We wanted to ensure that everybody that is a SASSA beneficiary is assured that they will still be able to use their SASSA gold card to get their money, because we really are servicing a very special and important market.
Sure, no, of course. What went wrong with your systems that you weren't actually able to replace them in time?
Well, there's nothing wrong that happened with our system in this tenure. Our systems have always been old, Stephen. As you are aware, we spun off this SA Post Office. We were part of that group, and we've been operating our banking infrastructure on a flat system. Then the Reserve Bank has then advised us to upgrade our banking system, and that is the program we are currently implementing. And we have really made a significant progress in finalizing that process. So what we have done as a bank is took the strategic decision to say this side of the year 2023, we rather focus on ensuring that the systems are ready, and then in the beginning of the year next year, we're going into a process where we are issuing physical cards to the individual social grants beneficiaries.
Okay, so when do you expect to actually have it done now? Is there a deadline by which time you now expect to finish this process?
Yeah, we working into the first part of next year to replace all the cards, Stephen. It's a big population, and we want to make the process really very convenient and less painful for beneficiaries. So we've staggered it in such a way that we are not going to cause chaos and inconvenience in the market. People can have sufficient time to pop into one of the channels where we're issuing the cards to collect the cards as we're calling them forward. So the dates are moving purely at the back of us wanting to assure that the beneficiaries have convenience more than anything else.
Okay, so Dr. Diako, I understand that, and I have a huge amount of sympathy for this because, as you correctly say, this is a group of people whose cards absolutely must work, and it must be made as easy as possible for them. My concern, though, is that you've missed deadlines on this before. I accept that, the Post Bank has problems. You and I have had that conversation before. What I'm trying to get to is that there is a reason why cards that involve money, Visa cards, normally have an expiry date, and particularly we know there are high levels of fraud in our country. So the concern is that the longer these cards are being used, it may be the more vulnerable they can be. And from what you're saying, I'm afraid to say, sir, you're not actually able to tell me when you'll have this sorted out by. So I'm worried that this time next year, you and I will still be having a conversation about these cards.
That certainly won't happen, Stephen. First things first, the issues of fraud really are a concern of the industry, and everybody is concerned with that. But the confidence that we've got in the market with the regulators, the confidence that we've got with our card scheme in this process of really extending the parameters of the cards is that if there will be any fraud, it will be fraud that would be anticipated. But looking at the entire process 360, we are short of its safetiness and that it's not prone to fraud. We have always been committed to replacing the SASSA cards in the market. We have been working collaboratively with the industry in that process. The SARP is actually more involved in our processes. We're having bi-weekly meetings with the Reserve Bank. So it's a collective effort because we do have an impact in the industry, Stephen. The amount of money that we transact on the SASSA product is huge and has an impact on the industry. So all those variables, all those factors have been taken into account in this decision that we have taken.
Dr. Bongani Diako, thank you very much indeed. Spokesperson for the Post Bank. Well, it's an important story. I expect there will be more developments around that. Of course, the importance of social grants in our society. Well,